Dear St. Andrews students, greetings of the day. We hope you are staying home and are safe. For the meantime, till the schools are not open, we will study through videos. For the today's topic, we will study chapter from 9th class, that is physical features of India. The major physiography division of India are the peninsular plateau region, the northern mountains region, the northern Indian plain, the coastal plain, and the Indian islands, and also Indian deserts. India is a vast country with varied landforms. Our country has practically all major physical features of the earth, that is mountains, plains, deserts, plateaus, and islands. India is a large landmass formed during different geological periods, which has influenced relief. Besides geologically formations, a number of processes such as weathering, erosion, and deposition have created and modified the relief in its present form. Causes of plate movement. Plates at our planet's surface moves because of the intense heat in the Earth's core that causes molten rock in the mantle layer to move. It moves in a pattern called convection cells that forms when warm material rises, cools, and eventually sinks down. As the cool material sinks down, it is warmed and rises again. The movement of the plate results in the building of stresses within the plates and the continental rocks above, leading to folding, faulting, and volcanic activity. Tectonic plate theory. The tectonic plate theory describes the large-scale motion of the Earth's lithosphere. This theory is based on continental drift, which explains the formation of various continents over millions of years. Plate boundaries. There are three types of plate boundaries: the convergent plate boundary, the divergent plate boundary, the transform plate boundary. The convergent plate boundaries are those boundaries or those tectonic plates in which two tectonic plates they moves towards each other. Divergent plate boundaries are those tectonic plates movement in which two tectonic plates they moves away from each other. Transform plate boundaries are those tectonic plates in which two plates they move alongside along their borders. Three types of plate boundaries they form different physical features. For example, due to divergent plate boundary, a ridge is formed. Due to transform plate boundary, earthquakes are formed, and due to convergent plate boundaries, mountains are formed. There are many hypotheses regarding the origin of Himalaya. However, there is almost a complete unanimity that the Himalayan mountains have come out of a great geosyncline called the Tethys Sea. About 120 million years ago, there were only two big continents in the world. In the north was Laurasia or Angara land, and in the southern hemisphere was Gondwana land. In between Laurasia and Gondwana land, there was a long, narrow, and shallow sea called Tethys Sea. Sediments were brought by the rivers from the land masses and deposited in the bed of the sea. These sediments were subjected to the powerful compression forces from both the continents. This compression squeezed and crushed the sediments of Tethys, and series of folds were formed, one behind the other, giving rises to the highest relief feature on the earth, that is the Himalayas. The curved shape of the Himalayas convex to the south. Its attribute to the maximum push offered at two ends of the Indian peninsula during its northward drift. In the northwest, it was done by the Aravallis, and in the northeast by the Assam ranges. Recent studies shows that India is moving northward at a rate of about 5 centimeter per year and crashing into rest of the Asia, buckling the Himalayas between Angaraland and Gondwanaland. This drift is providing instability to the Himalayan region. The Himalayan Mountains. The Himalayas are the youngest mountains in the world and are structurally the folded mountains. The Himalayas run along the northern border of India. The Himalayas form an arc which is about 2400 km or 2400 km long. The width varies from 400 km in Kashmir to 150 km in Arunachal Pradesh. The altitudinal variation are greater in the eastern part than in the western part. There are 3 parallel ranges in its longitudinal extent. The first one is the Greater Himalayas, or we call it as an Inner Himalayas. Then the second one is the Lesser Himalayas, or we call it as an Himachal. And the third one is the Shivaliks, which are at the foothills of Himalayas. The first one, the Greater Himalayas or the Inner Himalayas. This is the northmost range and is also known as Himadri. This is the most continuous range. It contains the loftiest peak. The average height of peaks in this range is 6,000 meters. All the prominent Himalayan peaks are in this range. The fold of the Great Himalayas are asymmetrical in nature, and the core of this part is composed of granite. Because of the lofty heights, the peaks of this range are perennial snow-bound. The second division is the Lesser Himalaya or Himachal. This lies towards the south of the Great Himalayas. The altitude of peak in this range varies from 3700 meter to 4500 meters. Average width of this range is 50 kilometer. This range is mainly composed of highly compressed and altered rocks. The third one is the Shivaliks. This is the outermost range of the Himalayas. The altitude varies between 900 meter and 1100 meter. In this range, and width varies between 10 to 50 kilometer. These ranges are composed of unconsolidated sediments. The longitudinal valley lying between the Himalayas and Shivaliks are called Dun. For example, we have Dehradun. Himalayan region from east to west. We have Punjab Himalayas. This part lies between the Indus and the Satluj river from west to east. This is also known as Kashmir Himalaya and Himachal Himalaya respectively. Then second one is Kumaon Himalayas. This part lies between Satluj and Kali rivers. Then you have next one, Nepal Himalayas. This part lies between the Kali and Tista rivers. Then we have Assam Himalayas. This part lies between the Tista and the Dihang rivers. Eastern Himalayas and mountains. The Brahmaputra marks the eastern border of the Himalayas beyond the Dihang gorge. The Himalayas bend sharply towards south and form the eastern hills or Purvanchal hills. These hills run through the northeastern states of India. They are mostly composed of sandstone. These hills are composed of the Patkai hills, Naga hills, Manupuri hills and Mizo hills. Thanks for watching. We'll come back again for the next segment that is related with the northern plains of India.